Well, everyone, it's happening. It's happening. GTA 6 pre-orders open June 25th. There we go. It's happening. We got a new video showcasing the game. We got an announcement of when pre-orders are going up. There is a new rewritten description of the story. Jason and Lucia have always known the deck is stacked against them. But when an easy score goes wrong, they find themselves on the darkest side of the sunniest place in America, in the middle of a criminal conspiracy stretching across the state of Leonida, forced to rely on each other more than ever if they want to make it out alive. Then it's a good number of the same stuff we've seen previously, but this video is the main reveal that people hadn't seen before. And so they announced pre-orders will be going live, and that is no doubt when we're going to find out about pricing. We're going to find out about if there's going to be early access, things like that. Now, because the internet is the internet, reactions exploded. I mean, obviously, no shocker. Just the post on X did like 72 million views, 568,000 likes, which is ungodly. That's crazy. They revealed the cover art as well, where you can see we've got things like alligators. We've got some of the different vehicles you can expect, some of the different characters and sub characters. Looks really good. But again, because it's the internet, reactions on the subreddit and elsewhere went and created much gnashing of teeth. And that is a pun, because one of the frustrations apparently was the number of teeth. I'm going to show you this. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is because obviously, like, we don't have much to look at in terms of like tangible information. It's just like, yep, pre-orders are going to go up next week, next Thursday, and we're going to be able to talk about it at that point. But I think we probably also get a trailer around that time. Probably trailer 3 drops the same day to announce it. That would be my guess. Now, what I want to look at, though, is specifically the community's reactions. Now, as with all of these things, going on the internet and finding a post with 75 likes might feel like, oh, people are talking about this. 75 people in the context of just the post that Rockstar made. 77 or 72 million. Finding 75 people who have unrealistic expectations, that's a pretty good percentage. Like that's we're doing great. That's 99.99999 whatever percentage that are positive, and you found 75. So I just want to be clear, like when you see stuff on social media and that we're about to look at, and it's like, wow, 89 upvotes. People are talking about this. It is literally statistically insignificant, like negligible. Okay. But I want to look at it because it's funny, and because there are people who are going to try to latch on to this because they just are like rage baiting and trying to get reactions. A lot of these people I do think are trolling in some cases that we're going to look at, but there are people that are going to actually try to spin this up into like being an added argument for culture war stuff or other stuff. Specifically, Nick Tech clipped a few of these subreddit reactions. Absolute said, "We got another floating light at the top right." This is what he's referring to. So in this video, you can see it pulls back. Look at the right. This is what he's talking about. He zoomed in on that and is complaining that that light is now floating. It's level of detail, which is very common. As you pull the camera out, things are going to lose detail because these are running on consoles from 2020. That's pretty normal. Nothing too crazy. If we look at the next post, this is from Mr. Buttons 007. Oh no, 196 likes. Ferris wheel reflection missing. He highlighted it for us so we know where to look. This again is a reference to right here where there's no Ferris wheel reflection in the water, which means the game is bad. This one, window parallax, which is basically where you can use like cube maps or things or parallax effects to make interiors of buildings appear to have interiors without having to like model it in with actual geometry and stuff. It's a very common practice in big games to do that because it just saves data and you're not able to go in here. So why would you need it? But this is where we start to get to the point where some of the like insane hype, as we've said, hype makes you stupid. I think some of that could be affecting the mental well-being of some individuals. Okay. Because I would like to think that people on this channel and elsewhere have pretty level-headed expectations because like it's a video game at the end of the day. They've spent an ungodly amount of money on this, but it is a video game at the end of the day running on 6-year-old hardware, okay? So there's certain things that you just shouldn't be expecting, like path traced lighting with like full ray traced lighting reflections, even a mile away from the camera. Maybe, you know, if you have a 5090 on PC, cool. Yeah, then expect that, sure. But on console, like on a base PS5, I don't think so. Like, don't expect that level of insanity. Like, what are we doing? And it still looks remarkable. I mean, just look at how much is going on in this shot. Look at all of the different things, whether it's the planes off in the distance, whether it's all of these lights being rendered way, way off in the distance. Over there, you can see cars driving on the highway over here actually being simulated. Down here, you can see people playing tennis in the middle of the night, people walking on the docks. I can enhance. You can see people, this lady or man, I don't know, is standing right against the railing right there. You've got people prepping their boats. You've got people driving these boats. Like, there is an insane amount of detail. But what inevitably happens is that there then is nitpicking over the finest details, and then people run with that and try to say that it needs to be delayed, which is where this ended up going. People calling for delays to take more time. How much time will they take to finish this building? My brother in Christ, who's going to tell him? Fake game. No one plays tennis. Yeah, true. This is yeah, I have the slightest, I have a feeling some people will ask for a refund once they spot the slightest inconsistencies when it comes out. Day one nitpicks are going to be annoying. Inevitably, there's going to be people on social media that are going to do that. Like day one, there's going to be the guys that are trying to nitpick every little bitty detail. Because honestly, after years and years and years of no info and then the occasional trailer, the community has kind of been trained to nitpick. Like, they have to nitpick every trailer to find any piece of information they can find. They have to nitpick every little bitty thing. And then that builds this community that is just trained to nitpick every little bitty thing, even though it does not matter. Let me show you one that doesn't matter truly. Nick Tech quoted, found this one also just earlier today on Shocker, the subreddit. Someone in GTA's subreddit has counted the gator's teeth in GTA 6's cover art and is calling it a mistake because it has less teeth than an American alligator actually has. They went and counted all of the teeth to then conclude that this was unrealistic. Now, clearly they missed something. This is set in Florida. I'm not sure if anybody in Florida has all of their teeth still. Honest question. I think it's like a staple. Like, you go to the DMV to get your driver's license, they take a few teeth. It seems to be that way. I love Florida. I go there all the time for vacation. Just being honest, I think it's like a rite of passage there. And this is basically set in Florida. So I think that they just misunderstood where the game is set. Having said that, as you can see, they looked up. American alligators have 74 to 80 teeth. This alligator, though, doesn't. He only has 60 teeth. Cancel your pre-orders. No point. No point. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we actually doing? This is insane. Now, I want to be clear. I do love pixel peeping is the term I prefer in my circles. I love pixel peeping. Pixel peeping's fun because it is fun. Like, when you're looking at a trailer like this or footage like this and going in and like enhance, and you can see this guy walking. So you can see that there's actual like animations playing out even that far from the camera. Sorry, my camera's blocking it. You see him walking? You'll notice in a lot of other games, like even Monster Hunter games, I believe Monster Hunter World, they had like half frame rate animations for monsters beyond a certain distance. So if the game was running at 30 frames, monsters would flap their wings at 15 frames once they passed a certain distance from you to save like CPU overhead or whatever it was. And so seeing stuff like this is like, oh, that's cool. So there's things you can do to appreciate what's going on here. Even these reflections, these are probably just, that's the thing. I'm not smart enough to know exactly what's going on here. If these were full screen space reflections, I would guess the Ferris wheel would show up. The fact that it isn't would suggest to me that it probably is ray traced to some degree, especially with like how hazy this is, but it's like quarter resolution, so it's not showing up. I'm not exactly sure. I'll let the Digital Foundry guys break that down. But I like pixel peeping because it's fun and you can like find out more information about the game. But I think sometimes people lose sight of what's actually important in the broad scheme of things. Like when we talked about, I'm going to say it, Starfield, something like load screens in that game. If this is the total package for the game that makes up the quality, if it's all the way filled up, all the way to the right, the bar is filled, it's a 10 out of 10 game, right? There's certain things where it's like, okay, core gameplay loops, okay, that's here. Graphics and presentation, that's here. Maybe the story is another big chunk, and that's filled in here. But something like, the load screens affects the open world adventuring, so it could have been all the way up here and filled in that much of the overall quality factor, but because of the constant load screens, it only gets this much, So there's pieces of it that are more of a big deal. Like there's buckets of quality and consideration that are different for each and every game. Like combat in a From Software game is really, really important. I don't think having motion captured cutscenes is particularly important in a From Software game. Would it be welcome? Sure, but I don't think it's that important. And then on the flip side, if you are playing like a linear narrative, basically storybook game with like occasional QuickTime events, having a really intense combat system, probably not that important for that type of game, right? For something like GTA, looking at these different things like, oh, the LOD for the light makes it look like it's floating, therefore game bad. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? How does that affect the quality of the game? The reflection here isn't what I thought it would be. Bad game. Like, what are we doing? What are we actually doing? I think RDR2 is to blame. I think that the constant comparisons with Red Dead 2 have again, within the community, bred a sort of nitpickiness that has certainly become frustrating. One of the cases that I was really frustrated by was, let me see if I can find the original post about this, because it was so stupid. The guy ended up blocking me for it, I think. So I might not be able to find it. There was a page when Mafia: The Old Country came out that was complaining that in Mafia: The Old Country you couldn't swim, was suggesting that like the quality was poor because you couldn't swim in it. Find the original post someone made complaining. Let me see if Grok can find the original post, because the guy, I think he blocked me when I made a video saying it was stupid to complain about that. But basically, like the fact that you can't swim in Mafia: The Old Country, how is that bad? Like, and then they had it compared with GTA. No, is this it? No. Well, Nick Tech clipped it, but the original guy was like Mafia videos or Mafia something or other. I don't remember. But there were articles written about it back then where it was like, yeah, see, you can't swim. And then they would play it side by side on like a TikTok video, or top and bottom, showing it next to Red Dead Redemption 2. And it was like, what are we doing? Like this is a AA scale narrative game. Yes, you can't swim out to the ship in the distance. Like, no, you pick your battles. It's a video game at the end of the day. But there's this desire to have every game be like, a Rockstar level game. And that attitude is exactly why so many big AAA games have ridiculous budgets and can't turn a profit, because they have to spend time doing stuff like that frankly shouldn't matter, especially if it's like just to avoid getting nitpicked by people on TikTok or something. But overall, like looking at this, I think there's so much remarkable stuff going on. Is it I'm more amazed that it can even run on a base PS5, if I'm being honest. But look at the little bird last minute. It's pretty remarkable. But we're gonna see the trailer probably next week, which I'm ready for. We'll see what the close to final version of it looks like. The entire game apparently uses global illumination and then ray trace lighting throughout. So people were asking like, oh, for like base console performance, can you expect them to have like just a rasterized rendered mode where it has no ray tracing and it runs better? Apparently not. Apparently the game has been built from the ground up for ray traced global illumination solutions and stuff like that. So they're using that lighting technique throughout, which is why it looks so good. But that's also why when people are like, do you think it'll run at 60? I don't think so. I don't think so. That and the sim side. Now, I got to ask you guys in chat, represent. They're about to open pre-orders. They're about to start asking for money. If this is 30 FPS max on base PS5, but 60 on PS5 Pro, are you playing day one? Or what I think is personally more likely is that it's 30 FPS locked on base PS5, and then it's like dynamic or uncapped on PS5 Pro. What do you think? I have a Pro. Yes. Can't afford it can't play until it's on PC. Wait for PC. I think knowing how big of a leap like Red Dead was to PC, I do not blame people if they want to wait. And I personally am hoping that they expedite the PC port because I think that would be amazing. Like just this one shot, imagine what you could get this looking like with like a 5090, dude. Like it would be unbelievable. It already looks really good, but just imagine full ray traced reflections across the board. I can only imagine. But what I am expecting, this is my uneducated opinion, my uneducated opinion, and based on vibes. I think based on listening to people way smarter than me, the problem for GTA 6 in terms of performance is that it is Rockstar games tend to be CPU bound, not bottlenecked on the GPU. They're bottlenecked on the CPU side. And what happened is like base PS5, this is capacity for the GPU, this is capacity for the CPU. The PS5 Pro comes along and adds a bunch more GPU room and power. So wow, we can crank out a lot more pixels that way, but it's only like a 10% improvement on the CPU side. And so if this is what is limiting your frame rate, adding 10% extra juice doesn't mean double the frames. You know, yes, you have more GPU power, but if you're held back here, it doesn't matter how much firepower you got over here. You know, it just doesn't. So my understanding from listening to people, again, way smarter than me, is that being CPU bound, it is way harder to get GTA 6 running at 60 frames than you would think on current consoles. Maybe with PSSR it helps. Maybe, but it seems like, again, PSSR mainly is to help on this side. It's to help with the actual graphics rendering. What is difficult with Rockstar games is the CPU stuff, which is primarily processed on the CPU. There's ways that you can do simulation stuff on the GPU, as I understand it, but it's not that common. And again, most of that stuff is still set aside for the CPU. And so, you know, calculating this NPC walking, calculating where this helicopter is going, where the birds are going, how these cars are driving, these planes and jets and everything, all the physics sim, the water simulation, all of that stuff has to be done and run on the CPU. And it has to do that every frame, every second. And if you only got 10% extra wiggle room on it, but that's what's holding you back, it gets tricky. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of wizardry going on, and they've been polishing for like 2 years at this point, it seems. I know not actually, but it feels like that. So I'm sure that they've been working hard to try and make it happen. And you better believe, like, you remember the stories about how PlayStation was sending their engineers to help polish and help get games ready for even cross-platform games to get ready on their consoles to make them look better. Sony, I believe the story was Sony was sending engineers to help polish like Hogwarts Legacy on the PlayStation 5 because they wanted when people played it to see the best version is on the PlayStation 5. So they have an incentive to send their engineers to help optimize it, right? Xbox did the same thing with Starfield, where they had Xbox engineers go to BGS and help them optimize. I would not be surprised at all if the same thing is happening here, where Sony is going and working overtime trying to find a way to get it running at least close to 60 on the Pro. Because if they can do that, all of a sudden that PS5 Pro is looking mighty delicious. Mighty delicious. You know, otherwise people will be like, it's a slightly sharper 30 FPS. But I think if they can get it at least unlocked or running at a higher frame rate, that would help a lot. Personally, my personal feeling, some of the best games I have ever played in my life ran at 30. Counts me, I don't care, it's just my opinion. Some of the best games I've ever played ran at 30. Whether it's like the original Breath of the Wild experience, phenomenal. Red Dead Redemption 2, played that at 30, loved every second of it. You know, a lot of the older like PS4 era games that we all know and love, whether you look at like OG Last of Us, whether you look at a Bloodborne, or you look at any of the Uncharted games, like all those, God of War 2018, like All those games ran at 30 and it was totally fine, even good. Now, would I prefer 60? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's like, hey, would you like $1 million? Yes. Would you like 2 million? Yeah, that'd be great. But I'm happy with 1 million. Like either way, I'm good. You know, in this case, for me, it's less of a concern. Now, where it is a concern for me personally is in first person games. I struggle with like symptom illness syndrome called being a little bitch. I struggle in first person games at 30. It makes me motion sick. The worst are id Tech games. I can't play like Doom. The newest Doom, Dark Ages, I was able to play and it didn't really affect me that much. But like first person games at low frame rates make me nauseous as hell. I can only play like 20 minutes of it before I want to hurl. It's bad. But third person games, much more flexible. So for me, like I would love higher frame rates, but if it only runs at 30 and that's what you have to deal with to play the game on a console, so be it. And then I'll play it at 150 frames on PC when it launches there, you know, benefits of being on PC. But yeah, I if you have a PC and you are patient, you want to wait to play it until it's on PC, more power to you. That's awesome. I admire your restraint and conviction. And I think you will play a version of the game that is stunning. Absolutely. But, I think a lot of people are probably in a similar boat where they're just like, especially with like some of the motion smoothing and some of the motion blur solutions that Rockstar's developed for games like Red Dead 2 that no doubt they're using here. They make it feel much better than just choppy 30 FPS. You know, one of the dangers is when you play a 30 FPS game that's like too sharp, it can actually make it feel worse and more choppy. So a little motion blur never hurt nobody. I don't tend to like motion blur, but when you're playing at 30, it can sometimes help. But I think that's probably the most controversial opinion I've had in a hot minute. But anyway, overall, I think that this is going to be a big moment, baby. I did just see a post elsewhere of a business. It's actually, I saw one on Twitter and then I saw that it's apparently happening more commonly, where certain businesses are already announcing that they are going to close on launch day on November 19th. They will not be open because they're getting so many time off requests that they can't staff it, which is really funny. Like specifically, people are taking vacation time and like booking vacations all in the same week. And the bosses are like, what? I think I saw a couple now. Yeah, I've seen a couple too. It's going to happen more and more. Like, I am not joking, where it may feel, if you live in a place with like a lot of young people. I live like right next to Colorado State University. So like we have a lot of college students, young people. I would not be surprised if on launch day, it's like an actual ghost town. It's like really quiet. Nobody's out driving. The schools are empty. Like no joke. Like they announced cover art. And this did 72 million views, 569,000 likes in a day. That's insane. Okay. That's insane. It's hard to quantify just how insane that is. I would not be surprised if there's like an actual blow to the electrical grid on this day. Like no joke. It's going to be crazy. I will have my battery backups installed and ready to go. It's hard to describe for people who are not in the gaming sphere just how insanely huge this will be. And I know inevitably whenever I say that, there's people in chat who are like, I'm not interested. I'm guessing somebody's typing right now. Oh, Mr. Mo said, I just don't get it. See, I got you. No, like inevitably there's going to be people who don't care, and that's fine. But there's like so many people that do care. It's wild. Like it's going to be insane. So buckle up. What is funny though, honestly, is that even with GTA 6 launching in November, I think November is actually going to probably be like pretty boring. Like in the grand scheme, it launches on the 19th. Nothing is launching anywhere close to it. Like nothing. And so we'll have some October games, but for a solid like month before and after, there's going to be nothing. You know, there's going to be nothing. It's going to be very, very quiet. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what we will do. You know, Phantom Blade, we do have Phantom Blade. That's true. I do think Phantom Blade's going to be awesome. But even Phantom Blade, what date does it launch? October 29th. 29th. I kept thinking it was earlier in October. Yeah, they're on the 29th. That will fill it up. We're not sure how long the game is, but that's probably, you know, at least a week or two, probably, hopefully. So that'll help. But yeah, it's gonna be crazy time, wild time, man, wild time. But next week we're gonna get probably a trailer on Thursday would be my guess. They'll drop a trailer, drop the pre-order links, revealing the price. I'm guessing final prediction, I'm gonna say 80, and then they'll have a premium variant all the way up to like $150. I think that's what it's gonna be. Honest question though, in chat, let me know what you think. Do you think they reveal anything about the online on Thursday? Because there's been rumors swirling that they are going to have a separate SKU for online, that it will be like a separate buy it for 60, buy it for 70, whatever product. So it's GTA 6 and then GTA Online launched as its own standalone thing. I don't know. Or it could be a different mode within the game. That the benefit of that is that then people who are buying the online game boost the numbers for the mainline game. So I don't know. But my personal expectation, and I think most of you agree with me, so we'll be wrong altogether. I think that they will not talk about online until, I mean, maybe even after launch. Like I think that they'll be very coy about it. They'll be very hush hush, and then they'll just do big marketing drops and stuff. Because I think the danger if they market the online at the same time is there's going to be a lot of confusion over what they're doing, especially if the online comes after. If it's like, yeah, online comes a month after launch or 2 months or 6 months after launch or something, I think that's not what they want to deal with, because then there's going to be confusion. People buy it and like, where's the online? So I think they will just pitch it as the story-based mode and story game, and then, you know, they'll tackle online after the fact so that there's no confusion. That's my guess. I also, yeah, I don't think, to be clear, I don't think it's their day one. I think it launches like a month to 6 months after. But the reason why I'm hesitant to say a month after is because that lands it right around Christmas, when all of the employees are going on vacation. They just launched GTA 6. They've been crunching for like 2 years, so they probably need a good break. So I'd be surprised if they launched it right after. It might be like spring of 27 is when it launches. Do you think online will be cross-platform? I think so. After all this time, I would be very surprised if it wasn't. We'll see. That could also be a PlayStation thing. Luke, do you actually like GTA? I've tried playing GTA Online a lot. I played with my buddies back in the day a lot, and we had a great time. It never did well in terms of viewership. I've tried to do like critiques and stuff of the stories, and I've tried to do videos on it, and they've just never clicked. But I do really like GTA. I was the guy that used to just go and then steal a big jet and then just fly around and explore the cities and stuff, and like make my own little stories up in my mind's eye. You know, I've always liked GTA. I mean, they're sandboxes. They're just fun. I never got, there was a period where I got good at it, but I never got amazing at doing the like crazy, you fly above the Air Force base and then you parachute in, steal the whatever it is it an F-18, whatever the fighter jet is, and then escape with it. I was able to do it reliably for a while, but I've lost the knack. I tried recently, like, you know, a couple months ago. I was like, oh, maybe I'll try that again. And I booted up. It's like, nope, died within 20 seconds. But dude, back in the day, I was pretty good at it. I could get in there and get it real quick. No issues. But now it's just, where's that tank come from? It just shows up, blows you up. Let's see. Mind's Eye mentioned. Hell yeah. All part of, whenever we talk about Rockstar, you got to bring them up. Basically, you got old. Seems like it. So anyway, there you go. GTA 6. It's looking awesome. We'll talk about it more next week. No doubt we will have all sorts of stuff to talk about. I think it's going to be baller, but inevitably there's going to be nitpicking weirdos. Like, some of this is just being funny. Like, you know, this guy probably is like, no, this doesn't matter. It's just something I noticed and is fun. Like, that's fine. Whatever. But there will be people who look at this and are doing the posts on Twitter and TikTok and YouTube trying to say that like Rockstar fell off, Rockstar's crap, and the game needs to be delayed, and freaking out over this stuff. And I think we all need to unite together and make fun of them passionately. Okay? Fair? Okay. It'll be that one Red Dead comparison guy. Dude, the funniest counter to that was I saw recently. I don't remember who did it, unfortunately, but somebody just did Red Dead 2 versus Red Dead 2, and they just played the same clips after each other. It was really funny. It was like Red Dead 2 horse walking animation versus Red Dead 2 horse walking animation. It's like, this is basically what we're doing, honestly. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
He took my thing.